and somehow hanging on by a thread, both Cloud9 and Aula.
Yeah,
Juki's
and
in them,
Cloud9
okay.
are in a position to where their kills aren't necessarily great, so now you're just trying to stake together a couple of points wherever you possibly can. This is
You
all
might
about
be
how
able to
long
make
can you
it.
exist if you're
If
Jace.
they have a decent
But
game
the
here.
hardest team to deal with right now seems to be not freaking B. 16 kills. They're already controlling over towards ship. A couple players still remain to allow them to get in towards this docks position, but Aula and Tommy
They're in a good
with the
spot
high ground
here.
can potentially rain some damage from above.
This is a huge take. This is Zix down below. This is one of the teams that
Big
can
knock.
potentially gatekeep this Aula squad. Again, they've got a couple kills. It looks like Juki's is on 4 and finds Mood from behind. Great footsteps, hearing. Swings over to Tommy. Tommy's able to
Tommy had
answer
to chow
back.
that way
Easy
sooner.
trade,
There you go.
No problem. Juki's, though, getting traded out by Crims. Here comes Zix. Zix is about to play Ruiner. Zix is about to play Spoiler. Zix cuts
No
down
way
the
he
Aula
pushed
squad.
that.
They will not be moving on to grand
Wow.
finals if our math is correct. There is a lot more
No
gameplay
way
to
he
be
pushed
had, and they are
that.
below that 100-point
That's
bracket.
They didn't
Crazy.
finish top 5. It was Onyx Ravens that got finished off before we got to this Final Four. Dongi up top, SGP with 3 members strong, but not with a lot of plates. And all of a sudden, who is it? It's Twisted Minds again. These guys were either red hot yesterday or ice cold. They find themselves in the red hot form early.
We have
It's a
3
2v2v2
teams
with a portable
remaining,
buy
and
down.
Zix and Crims have hung on after being pushed by
Interesting.
team after team. They need
Live
top
Max at them,
2.
they need to
are
use
in
this
third
opportunity
right
to
now.
start
3
going
teams
up the
remaining and in
stairs.
trouble. They're gonna
Because
PDS
if
here,
they
but look at
let
Navi.
this team
They're
fight
on
finish,
rotation. That's
they've
Team 8.
lost.
They are moving to the zone and they're moving early.
There you
This is
go.
what
There
this
you
team
go.
does. They have the highest average placement of any team. Zix catches him in rotation, saw the light and said,
Well, that
"I'll
was
at least take out
unexpected.
one." Final 2. We've got Navi versus
Poor
Twisted
Limax,
Minds.
bro. They
We've
just
got
cannot
second
win a
place
map.
versus
They all
third
keep
place.
getting
These are our top
second.
teams for a reason.
They
The only
keep
team we're missing
getting
is the Falcons.
second.
And Twisted Minds says, don't worry, we're going to be at the top. What a way to finish game number 4. Wow. Twisted Minds dominating. Twisted Minds at the top. Knight, that X Factor we were expecting.
The Twisted Minds is unbelievable, bro. They had one bad map yesterday. One. They finished 11th, and they still put together like 10 kills. So these guys are doing it all. And
Good
they're doing
morning,
it all very, very well.
Notorious.
It's one of those things that,
Good
especially as
job,
we kind of look towards our
Aiden.
favorites, just to
Woohoo!
keep the conversation, not just focus on the bubble, but the teams that are looking like heavy-handed, possible strongest teams out there. Falcons, of course, in top of our minds, but Twisted Minds, Na'Vi, all playing very consistently, not just overall kills, but also positioning. They're finding their kills late as well, which is super impressive considering all of our strong teams seem to be lasting until almost the final 2 circles.
Yeah, and again, those Group A teams, Navi, Twisted Minds, near the top of our leaderboard, they're done now.
Let's
right?
see.
They did
Let's
well.
see.
They're feeling
Juki's
really good about the
team.
performance. They're
'Cause
gonna
I think
also
they
have
had
that
decent
wind in their sails
kills.
going into the grand finals tomorrow to know they're likely going to be a top 5 team at the end of group stages. Still a couple more games to be played for that Group C. We're looking at Abwiz to potentially breach into that top 5 conversation. But it's all about the bubble shift. It's all about the teams right around 14th place. There's still a lot of work to do for our Group C.
He's
teams.
doing
I'm
good.
looking
They're
at
doing good. They
Cloud9.
should
I'm
qual.
looking at
They should
Omid.
qual.
I'm
Even if
looking
they
at
get
Onyx
zeros,
Ravens, who
they should
knows?
qual.
They could make a move. They've been feeling really confident in the last couple maps, but they still need a crazy amount of points.
Absolutely, and again, Group B has to play up Group C next, which, again, feels like it's going to be a little bit more difficult. But here's a look at that last rotation. You talked about it. Na'Vi hard preferring to try to get to the zone before the circle actually gets there. The difference was Zix calm and collected.
Obviously, we don't want them to get
1v2v2 situation, 1v2v3 actually, and he's still able to find a couple of kills, make life that much more difficult. Could not quite finish off the second kill, but still, lots of damage done and essentially gifts the game on a silver platter to Twisted Minds at the end.
Yeah, you know, I'm sitting here doing the math, and at the end of the day, I think Twisted Minds wins that regardless. It's just a matter of how many points they get, and it's really just added insult to the rest of the teams. You know, when we were talking about that game for Aula and some of these teams on relegation point, like on that kind of cut point we talked about, they not only needed a win, they needed a ton of kills, and they needed somebody like Twisted Minds to not be there in the final circle. They needed those points, but Twisted Minds comes away with a crazy amount of points. Let's head over to the casters, the analyst desk. Taylor Reflective Double, where are you at? What you got for us?
Already know how it goes. Go shift, casting that excellently. That's game number 4 done, and also, yeah, game's done for Group A right there. 4 games are out of the way, which means we've most likely just seen some early exits, or at least earlier than we were expecting, most likely at the start of day 1. We'll cover that in just a second. But the big story here is Twisted Minds winning back-to-back days. Dream, Twisted Minds with Aiden and Co. They're pumped up. They're feeling
What's up,
great.
Blinks?
They've got to be on top of the world.
Yeah, and I mean, Shift said it, right? They had like one bad game, but still able to pick up so many eliminations, and that
ton.
like the synergy that they have between the squad, even with that IGL with Z-Smith, right? Taking over late game, but you always see them together. And with these games, you guys, listen, Group A, Group B, C, Elemental P, you know, you guys doing all the math and stuff as a competitor, it just doesn't matter.
That's right.
You just got to win. You got to be alive in those in-game moments, and they're always together. They're always alive,
Always
all
together.
three of them.
Always together. And Twisted Minds, I believe, was your prediction, if I'm not mistaken,
Look, I think
right?
I got it in my back pocket here somewhere. I don't know
Ah.
where you can see, but I got the pin
You
right
got the
here.
Twisted
the
Minds
Twisted Minds
pins.
pin.
Beautiful.
I'm gonna put it right up here when the games are done because
as
I
well.
imagine they're gonna be on top of the world.
Bias caster.
Bias cast. Well,
I
I'm
know,
biased
yeah,
for
they
six.
got
I
some- they
can say that.
got,
Then again,
some
Fnatic
nice
was my
shoes.
official pick, and Fnatic is looking pretty good.
Nice
right? After all,
shoes.
tomorrow we'll be crowning our champion. We'll see who it is. But Twisted Minds, seriously, good job from them. Just back to you though. What makes Twisted Minds such a great team? Obviously, you were backing them at the beginning. They've now got wins in back-to-back days. What are they doing right?
I mean, it's just they've put together a good team with experience. Last time we saw this team kind of take the stage in a resurgence
Hey,
area, it was all the way
Codgate gave
back
me
in
some
CDLR.
Crocs
They had third
and-
place, and that was online. So you put them in land
love 'em.
now, where Aiden obviously feeling the crowd. We
Yeah.
saw that earlier on, and you put Gorgo Knight in that same situation where he's the retired resurgence janitor, just cleaning up all those messes. Z Smith, he's got the brains. Ellen was touching on that the first day.
That's
Him
right.
taking that IGL role has been proving to be the recipe to success for this Twisted Minds team, making it to those end games and then utilizing that experience together to clutch up in those scenarios where other teams just don't seem like they can put it together when they have all those members
Yep.
there. They, most of the time, will put that one together. And I think this Twisted Minds
You're
team,
so
they just
jealous
have
about the
such
Crocs?
a good trio that
Love the
trusts
Crocs.
each other.
And they have to have that trust. It's imperative. Gorgo Knight, by the way, shout out to him. He hasn't played on LAN, at least from my knowledge, in a very long time. So for him to get up on the main stage in front of that crowd, granted, he knows what it is to be in front of a crowd. He knows it.
I was
to
gonna
his
say,
core. He's been playing
Gorgo
COD for so
literally
incredibly long. He's been at the
came
top,
from
echelon of COD
professional
play, but
Call of Duty,
regardless,
like-
he's coming in and he's playing in spades. Team Zix, though. BSL's been a big narrative for us, right? Mainly because they've been challenging the likes of the Falcons in the past. But Team Zix at this point in time, hey, they're tearing it up. They almost eliminate BSL, and they're landing over at Stronghold.
Yeah, Zix are looking really good again. I think if you're underestimating this roster at this point, you really shouldn't be. This roster is doing such incredible things. They've looked good in World
Wait,
Series of Warzone
what?
recently.
I'm confused.
And, you know, they're challenging pretty much everybody. They're getting late into these games. Their positioning looks really, really
Confused,
good. And that early
laddie.
game does as well. I think quite crucially,
I'm assuming this is
quite funnily
soccer?
there towards the end of that game, they were the ones to eliminate Alula, which we were
Pretty sure
talking
that
about.
Canada
like, that
sucks
kind of
at
head-to-head
soccer.
Scenario.
Except
we wanted to
for
see Alula play
our
well
women's
against
soccer
them.
team, I think, is
They
like
only had 2
decent.
games. Zix,
Our men's
I
is
think, again, they've
horrible.
got 2 more after this, and I think for Zix to be the ones to take them out and effectively bat them away, it's quite poetic.
It is. I actually want to bring up a point to you, Ellen, because when I think about Team Zix, I've been pumping them up. They represent Falcons. When
I
it
don't
comes
think
to
I've ever
World
heard
Series
any good
Warzone.
things about our
Obviously,
men's
Team
soccer
Falcons
team.
This time around, representing for the club championship is that Shifty Hisoka Biffle roster. But they like to land, at least Team Falcons in this tournament, like to land Stronghold. Team Zix is now landing Stronghold.
Really?
There's a chance we see
Wow.
kind of
Wait, are we
Falcons
actually
on
good at
Falcons
soccer?
Yeah,
point.
which would be amazing. But you know, one thing that you said that kind of like highlighted in my mind is like hesitation from some of these players, and I believe it was Omit where we saw Tenix kind of at the tower area, and then there was a knock, and I think Dander said, "Hey," or somebody
Oh,
said, "Hey,
okay,
you gotta
Rogers,
push
my
that,
bad.
you gotta help, you gotta
Yeah,
help."
yeah.
So,
No,
I mean, for
you
that
guys suck
confidence,
at
though, even
soccer.
From the Falcon squad, if you're gonna be contesting the other Falcons, you better make sure you have that confidence in those plays.
Go for the
That's-
king, you don't miss.
That's
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
right.
But you know what? Alpha up. Who's the best Falcons team? Well, right now the Falcons are the best Falcons team. All right, Shifty, Ahsoka, and Biffle. Let's move in though towards our Sony MVP, and I'm curious who it is. Let's
Yeah.
actually take a look, because from what I'm
Oh,
hearing,
okay.
it's a familiar face, and it's Z Smith from Twisted Minds. Seymour, he's the Sony MVP.
It all comes down to the points that Alan were making the other day. We saw him in the solos. He was playing very
Hello.
sound Warzone, waiting for those players, those solos to be isolated in those gunfights, taking advantage of those situations that were in front of him, and paving way for himself to get into those end games. And as soon as you put him into the trios, Alan, you said it, he's
Yeah.
going to be leading this team in the end game to so many winnable situations.
Exactly, and you know what?
Wait,
though? In
really,
the solos, I
Jay?
love that
No
you said
way.
that because of how well he was performing. He said, "I'm channeling everything." He
did.
has the confidence. If you don't miss, don't lose, right? You guys have heard that for years. But for Z-Smith, having that confidence, it's carrying over. But with your teammates in
We
hand,
need a win out of
yes,
Fnatic, I
taking over
agree.
Not only slaying power, but
Yes.
that late game IGL.
Reclaim
Listen to me.
your guys' title, Fnatic.
It's
This is the
working.
I
time.
love that. Well, let's sober up a little bit because now it's time to move into our standings. And unfortunately, we're going to see a couple of teams I think
Let's
who
see.
are going to be eliminated today. We're looking at the bottom
Yikes.
7 to start off. And well, I'm hearing a bit of a yikes, but let's at least talk about it. Seymour, what do you notice?
I mean, Alula, 67 points, where, you know, Shift earlier was saying there's a threshold, and that threshold is looking to be around that 100-point marker where about Aizen and Team Destroy are sitting. It's not a good look to be that far down the leaderboard. Even
Destroy, I
outside of
think,
that
is gonna
number
be
14 spot,
fine.
You're probably out.
Yeah, and while they aren't currently below that number 14 spot, we should point out that BSL are currently sitting at number 12 in Group
Good
A.
call.
They are done and
Oh, yeah,
dusted
Juki's
right
and
now.
them
They
are
have to sit and wait and hope
over.
that the teams joining the next set of games
Over.
will not get enough points to knock them below number 14 on the board. And again, we talk about that kind of magical 100-point
Yeah, he's
threshold.
Fnatic.
Right now, they are well below it. So they're going to have every single appendix crossed.
Yeah, every single appendix crossed indeed.
I
and I mean,
think who's
even for some
playing
of those
right
bubble
now
teams, Cloud9 to
is
need to
new
catch up,
icons
but
who
for
are in
Omid
15.
securing that, I mean, that 14th spot, the 100-point threshold as that, you know,
Cloud9,
Golden Shift has
Onyx
mentioned, though,
Ravens,
it was between what Team Destroy and
AG
Kisoon,
Global, I
so
think,
even just
and
being able to move up, solidify
Gaming
that,
Gladiators.
it's gonna be
Those are
tough for
who
those bottom
are
teams.
playing,
Gonna
I
be tough
think.
indeed. And
Which
by
are a
way,
lot of the
Team 6
bottom
sitting up there
teams.
in 11th place, a team that's also on watch. They're just below that 100 points, and I mean just below it, sitting at 85-95, right? So my vision's not too good to tell you the truth. So it's one of those. Regardless, though, being in 12th or 11th place, not a safe spot, especially, like I said, Stronghold if they start battling against Falcons.
Yeah, you're kind of just hoping there if you're BSL. You're like, Falcons, take the wheel. Just get all the points. Make sure nobody can get anything right now.
You know what? I wanted to say something, though, about Stronghold. Onyx Ravens, right? They were contesting, at least in the beginning, BSL for a while. So you're seeing some of these these bottom half teams taking that confidence to fight that engagements, because if you can knock a top team out for those lower teams,
Fact.
that would be good for them, right? Then they can just,
Yeah.
I mean, farm each other.
Farm each other. Not easy to do with some of them, but some, you know, can maybe farm just a little bit. Well, there it is. That's 4 games down, 2 more to go, and now it's all about Group B versus Group C. The final 2 games of group play, the final chance to finish outside of that bottom 7, right? You want to be top 14 if you want to play for all the glory, not only the Warzone World Cup Championship, but also for the bulk of the $1 million.
Do you guys
We're gonna
remember
take
when
a
I
quick
used to
break. When
1v1
we come
Huskers
back,
in
group play
Verdansk?
will continue.
Or Caldera. Yeah, it was Caldera. Alright, we're muting for the ads because I can't be bothered. Nice! W! W farming! W farming. Bum 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 ba bum Hurt myself. $65 points in 2 games is crazy. Huskers and them have 30 points in 6 games, which means that they're averaging 5 points per game.
Where is your favorite drop spot on Rebirth Island?
I think we've claimed Control Center.
Ooh, okay.
It's just such a central part of the map, excluding Prison, obviously. We just think Prison is a bit more RNG in terms of fight, so I think we can control. If we
He has a
control
whole
control,
map!
it gives us a lot of map control and just like freedom to just be aggressive and
Okay, well, I'll be looking to see how that turns out here. Maybe we'll have some other teams who have the same idea. Hopefully you guys can come out on top with that.
And welcome back, everyone, to the Esports World Cup Call of Duty Warzone, the final 2 games of group play. We now go into Groups B versus Group C, the last chance to not be one of those bottom 7 teams who will be top 14 to move forward to tomorrow. I'm your host, Taylor Reflections Noble, joined by Dream Infinity and Seymour. And now things start to get serious, right? Group A, they're done with. We know some teams have already been eliminated. Sad to see them, but their keys are going to be smashed up. Now, let's talk about what needs to happen in these next 2 games. And Dream, I go to you for this. Let's talk about high risk versus high reward.
Yeah, I mean, well, you got these teams, right? Do you push a top team? Do you not? But what we have been seeing, I feel like today, is some of these teams kind of hesitating. But for others, we have seen the anchor players kind of stepping up, staying alive, and like the Slayers going out, especially Donkey.
Yeah, I mean,
but you know, for some of these teams, you got to just debate with yourselves, like, okay, do we push this squad? Do we back out? It's really
Donkey was not an anchor player. Is that what they just said?
Super important because this is it.
This is it, right? And Na'Vi, let's talk about them because they've been getting some good second places, but Na'Vi as a whole, will they be able to finally get first, right? A team that is just on the cusp.
I mean, Na'Vi, I think, are looking to be pretty set after the Group A finishes.
Right.
I think, you know, you look at, I'm just going to say it right here. You just saw Zeppa. He said he controls Control Center, and they looked like they controlled Control Center. They don't get a win for sure, but they still have another day. They should have secured their spot in tomorrow.
Right.
And
Yeah, I agree. I'm pretty sure that Zeppa and them are good to go.
That is aiming for even more now.
Without question, Na'Vi's been looking incredible. And in fact, let's talk about an incredible person, Puckett, who had a chance to talk to Na'Vi. Let's hear what they had to say.
It's Puckett here on the stage, and Group A is done for the group stages. Now, you guys don't know exactly where you're at on the leaderboard. This is the first time you're seeing it. I took a screenshot for you. You can go ahead and hold that, pass it around.
Okay. That's not bad. That's not bad.
Second place. Did you think
Somebody
you'd be that
tell
high on the leaderboard?
Zeppa!
Yeah, of course.
Now, you said before this that you think with 2 more maps being played, that you could potentially fall. How far do you think you could fall down that list?
7th at worst, I reckon. Probably 5th, 6th, or 7th. Or maybe we stay up like 4th. Yeah.
we're in line. I think we stay top 5.
Yeah.
Top 5. Top 5? Yeah, top 5.
So should we celebrate the fact that you guys are playing for $1 million tomorrow?
Nah, job's not done.
Job's not done. How we feeling though?
Feeling great, you know what I mean? No one remembers the route, they only remember the win, so.
You guys were so close to
Not wrong
taking one
about
of those
that.
maps. You're always in the top 5, it seems, so far. How are you staying so
We're rooting
consistent?
for Fnatic.
I mean, honestly, I think we're really harsh on ourselves. We should have probably won both those maps. We definitely put ourselves in the position to win both of them. So
Yep.
we're pretty mad that we came second both maps.
And
You guys
keep it
should have
real
won
with
both
me.
of those
Who's
maps,
the
to
toughest
be fair.
competition so far out of the groups you've played?
I would say Falcons and these boys over here, Fnatic.
Fnatic. Speaking of
Thank
Fnatic,
you.
we'll be
Put
catching up with them in
respect.
just a minute.
Hi, Eddie.
Congrats,
I see
Navi.
you in the corner.
Thank you for the interview, Puckett. Navi saying the job's not done yet, right? I like that because it's not. You have to still make it to tomorrow, and then you have to obviously capitalize on tomorrow's games. All 8 games. You want the championship, you're going to have to play hard because we've already seen some of the top dogs rise up. And Navi, by the way, and a ton of esports played out throughout the World Cup. Esports World Cup, they're going for that club championship. We've talked about teams who might be taking some points away. Abwiz is one of them who's been, at the upper echelon of conversation throughout all days, including even the solo play. But a team that's also been doing well today is Twisted Minds. Twisted Minds, 2 wins, right? Not only yesterday, but today when it comes to group play. Seymour, I know you've had a lot to say about Twisted Minds, and I appreciate that too. But now let's have Infinity have a little bit of moment himself. Aiden, right, coming into the forefront. Gorgo Knight, looking incredibly strong. I mean, these guys, they're doing it all.
I mean, it's just like Seymour already said, right? I mean, the fact of the matter is, this is not the first time this composition of players has come together. And
That's
as
crazy
success. And going back
percentage.
towards that CDLR, as I remember it, I think they were perfectly fine with kills. Just getting consistent high placement was their
I'll
issue.
be the
And
Teletubby.
it is worth saying, I do think to a certain extent, the same thing is happening here. They've had those 2 wins, which is awesome. Great job, Twisted Minds. But they have also had a couple of games where they are falling in the mid game and not being able to get all the way up towards the top. And
Sure.
I'm not too sure where they are right now in the standings, but I don't think they're quite with the big boys just yet. So if they can get that consistency down, if they can get late into the games and then, of course, get those dubs and the high kills, they are absolutely a contender. They have to be to take the entirety of the Esports World Cup.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. Well, the good news is that, I mean, even if they're not like in top 3, right, conversation, they're still in top 14. So big adjustments could be made tomorrow. And honestly, I don't even think they really need to make big adjustments, in my opinion, to going into tomorrow.
It's even the fact that, like, you guys all picked the same orgs to win. I'm the only one rooting for
picked
Twisted
Fnatic.
Minds here.
Smart, dude. I don't know what you want from us.
What do you mean?
Oh,
Only Coach and I picked Falcons.
That's
You
a
guys
lot
are
of
delusional.
With
I'm
Fnatic.
the only one who chose Twisted Minds, and they're
Whatever.
riding it out to the very end.
And they're doing great. Hey, but Fnatic, too, is also looking good. Twisted Minds, though, they're absolutely incredible. In fact, let's actually hear from Twisted Minds. We've got an interview set up with them. Let's hear what they had to say.
Welcome back to the STC Arena, where I am joined by Twisted Minds, your winners of map number 4 in our day of eliminations. I'm going to come to you first, Knight. Buddy, we kind of talk about survival being the theme of today, but you guys are feeling pretty comfortable at this point, I think. So it looks like you're just having a good time. How are you feeling so far?
We had a great time today. 9-day difference from yesterday. We went from survival to slaying.
Good for you guys.
Survival to slaying. I like that. We can write that on the shirt somewhere. That's cool. Smith, how you doing, man? You good?
Doing great. Doing great.
Nice. Okay, so I just wanted to talk to you about today's kind of approach, because a lot of teams are coming in today all out aggression, or maybe playing a bit tactically to try and get that multiplier if they manage to win a game. What did you guys come in with, and what did you anticipate your opponents would do?
Honestly, I don't think we really changed up our game at all. I think today's we're just in a better headspace.
Yeah.
And
Flow
I feel
state.
like if you try to change up your game and not play with confidence, it's just going to change everything. And we said
You
it
need
last night,
30
like, as soon as
something.
we,
I think
like, all got
32
together,
maybe
like,
percentage.
We're just going to lock in and play the same way and just play our game, and it's just working a lot better today.
Maybe
You
35.
are Mr. Confident, man. That's every single interview we've had. Confidence, confidence, confidence. I love it.
You can't hesitate. If you don't have confidence, you can lose every time.
That is true. That is very true. Aiden, what's going on, man? Where are the sleeves?
Feeling good. Listen, I'm trying out different outfits each day, seeing what works best. Yesterday I had the Twisted Mind sleeves. Today I'm trying them off. Tomorrow I'm probably going to throw the Twisted Mind joggers on. So I'm mixing it up.
Okay, because yesterday you were going ham about, like, everyone needs a pair of sleeves. This is the one. But you know what? You're still winning without them. So maybe it's just you. Maybe it's not the sleeves.
Yeah, it might just be me.
Now, you know what? I've spoken to many teams over the past few years that I've been in this kind of game, and you know what? A lot of people have different answers for this, but do you guys have any, like, pre-match rituals? I've spoken to people before, and they've said that they have to wear a certain type of shoes, a certain pair of socks, or they have to, like, hug their cat in between games. That was a bit of a weird one. What about you guys?
What do you do when you're on LAN?
Honestly, just get a little bit of caffeine in the system, get energized, and just try to keep the vibes up. Just mess around a little bit. Try not to take it too serious as we're going in, and that's what I do.
Knight, I hear that you like a bit of 80s rock, am I right?
Yeah, I like to throw in some Journey, you know, sip on my caffeine, and that's how I get cracked personally. It works for me.
Good for
Love
you.
that. And Smith just has enough confidence, that's fine. But don't stop believing, Knight. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me in this post-match interview. Congratulations on map 4. Guys, we're going to throw it back to the studio to continue our Elimination Day.
Elimination Day.
Barney Banks over at the STC Arena talking to Twisted Minds, a team that is pretty much confirmed to move forward to tomorrow alongside that of Falcons as well as Na'Vi. But now let's talk about a team, unfortunately, whose run has officially come to an end. And I'm very sad to say it's actually Jukies and his crew, right? Team Alula. They have officially been eliminated. Their key will be crushed, and whoever wants to use it for their trophy, well, they've got the opportunity to do so. Alula, a team that came in, was much hyped up, but unfortunately just didn't make it happen. Dream. Jukies, a great competitor, still trying to make World Series of Warzone Global Finals along with this roster, of course, including FIFA Kill, but they gave it their best effort.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, and, you know, having to go through the LCQs too as well. I mean, this was maybe a little bit of a morale booster still just to get the environment in, but they have to be, you know, a little bit disappointed, but still nonetheless.
I feel like this would be a morale crusher going into LCQ.
Back no matter what.
I think so, and I will say this, for what it's worth, even making it to this stage, competing in Saudi Arabia here in Riyadh, competing at the Esports World Cup, the first ever official Esports World Cup, is a big feat in itself, right? There were 7 teams who were going to be eliminated. The competition was stacked. They were one of the best, but Infinity, you know, it is what it is. Still great competitors.
Yeah, and I think the thing is as well, you have to remember the fact that they are playing with Tommy for this tournament, right?
That's
That is not their usual teammate whatsoever, and that has to change things quite a lot in terms of communication, which has already been an issue, I think, for Jukies and Lennon in World Series of Warzone. So honestly, I think they gave it their best shot. They had the right strategy coming in. They just could not pull it off.
And another narrative, by the way, just to point it out there, we'll talk more about it tomorrow, but with Tommy eliminated now officially from the tournament, it opens up the door for several others to take over the top earning spot when it comes to Warzone earnings. A conversation we'll have tomorrow, but now I want to focus on, as we're like just very close to getting into the game, I want to talk about the teams that are now officially in the danger zone. 2 more games left. First off, we're going to talk about Gladiators. Gladiators, a team that's at the bottom right now, but they are looking to make it up. They just need 2 great games.
Yeah, that's it. 2 great games, and hopefully some of those top teams getting knocked out earlier, third party. But for them, this is it. They have to.
I think Twitch is bugging because Blunt, you're showing up as like the black color.
Cloud9, also a team that's on the come up.
You know,
did you change your name color?
The best sniper in North America? Is it Huskers? Is it Breadman? Well, we're going to see here in this game because they're going to be in the same lobby and they're going to be
go
fighting
for it,
same
Sharks.
positions.
You're fine.
Cloud9, I just don't think it's gone so well for them the last couple of games. We said
showing
coming
red
into today,
now.
we want to
I think
see
it's
more of
bugging
the
out because
last 2
Roseman
games
was the
from
same
yesterday.
thing.
And you're looking at the placements from the last couple of games.
You're still showing up as
11th
black
and
for
7th,
me.
Respectfully, they're still sitting at 41.6 points. That is nowhere near that 100-point threshold. We need about 30 points per game to get them into the final day.
That's right. Well, looking here, Seymour,
right, they need 29 points. Fnatic needs 29 points for second place.
Just in top 14.
Yeah, 74 points.
Because everybody above them is not playing in this one.
They go into the same discussion as AG Global with a team that's very good at big map, but struggling with the resurgence side. And for Team Vitality, who everybody, you know, different nationality, different language barrier for the 3 of them. It's really noticeable towards the end of these games when you're in resurgence, when there's just that block off where teams normally know exactly what to do when they do it together. You're seeing Team Vitality, they're separating, they're doing 3 different things. You just need to see that cohesiveness come into play for these next couple games.
Soka and them are playing with them,
currently sitting in 11th
so it's going to be a little bit more than
that
for them to get
interesting,
first.
though. Do they get challenged by the Falcons over in Stronghold? A lot of questions to be answered and 2 games left to decide who will be our top 14, who will join Alula in the bottom 7. All that and more to be answered, and we will be answering that shortly. Let's head into
so
game
that means
number
that
5 of the day.
Alula
Casters, take it away.
Was the first team to be eliminated. Because they're the only team in the bottom 7
our 14 teams are finally
that are done playing
to go
for
into
the day.
Finals for tomorrow. The groups B and C are currently setting up right now behind us, so we have a little bit of information for those of you at home. A huge upset for many fans who are huge fans of these guys, that Alula, which is Tommy, Jukies, and Lennon, are now out of the competition, Milosh.
Yeah, but good news, everyone, because Falcons, Twisted Mind, and Na'Vi are pretty much set for the finals. I won't bore you with the math, but it's basically unless the sky falls down on our heads, we'll be fine. But, Barney, 2 more games to go. That's it. We got 14 teams that need to make it in tomorrow. 7 will be knocked out.
It's a
We
really
have reached
expensive
the
frisbee,
boiling
I call
point.
it.
So it's do or die. Our game is ready. Our players are set. Let's toss it to our casters.
Thank you so much, Stage.
And
Man,
nobody
I
replied
love
to
this.
me.
We are truthfully. I
What
love
do
the
they do with
boiling point
one
metaphor.
trophy?
There's
There's 3
talk about
players,
at the
or
end of
does the
day.
trophy
This
go
is
to the
truly
org?
the knockout
I would
round.
assume that the
This is
trophy would go to the
all
org,
heroes.
but
This
the
is
players should
everything
get
on
a
the
trophy
table.
too.
You have 2 games to keep your life in this tournament alive. Otherwise, you're getting crushed. That key is out of here, and it's going to the bottom of somebody else's trophy.
That's, again, what a cool idea for a trophy. So sick. The other part about this is not only do we have some teams that are sitting here on stage needing to put together.
Lock it in,
maybe
Eddie.
games
Why do you
that are
look like
better
you're
than
about to
their
fall
average.
asleep?
If your team Eisen to destroy, you may
Wake
not have
up.
fingernails left sitting in the audience chewing on them, waiting to see
He's
what happens
literally
to those
taking
other
a
squads
nap.
that are on the bubble.
It's truthfully one of the hardest positions to be in. It's frankly why I think I would prefer Group C if I was playing. You play your 4 games.
That's what he
in a
gets for
row.
going to
You
bed at
don't have to
2
leave anything
a.m..
kind of up to chance. You did destroy. They played their 4. They're at 98 points. Our projected average, our projected threshold is off.
Wait, did Adrian get dropped? Because I seen no. Adrian's
Yes,
not in this
they're at
tourney.
90. You
Swag
gotta remember,
and
2
Sage
more
are not
games.
in this
This
tourney
leaderboard is
either.
gonna dramatically change over the course of these next 2 games. We're gonna have a really good idea of where we're at after this next one. But you're right, Eisen, Destroy waiting in the wings. Team Heretics looking really strong, right in 10th place right now, 94.4. Theoretically, they need like 6 points over the next 2 games.
Yeah, and that should be pretty much guaranteed. The teams that we really need to keep our eyes on, though, are Team Vitality, Amit, New Icons, and Onyx Ravens. In particular, those first 3 are all right there.
Hi.
But the thing that's interesting about it is
Nah,
they
that
need
man's
to
is
hit
not
or
meditating.
beat
I
their
can tell you that
usual
for
average
free.
per drop if they want to jump up above that 100-point threshold. Vitality in particular at
Yeah, this is the first
74.6,
game
they
of
need
the
to put
3rd
together a
group.
good drop.
So the
thing
last
about
2
it is
games of
they
the
only
day.
had a couple in the history of the last couple of matches.
If there's anything about
Yay,
that Team
your name is
Vitality
green
that
again.
I know is that it's one of the longest standing trios in the game. A German, a Latvian, a Finlander come together.
Yeah.
They've been playing together for years. If anybody can do it, I know that they can. And I know Enigma is off in the wings cheering them on. That's his pick to win it all. So they got to piece it all together here in the next 2 maps. But a couple more teams we got to talk about. I mean, Aula, they're out of here, right? We've already seen that. That's been noted. They're below the 14-point threshold. I'm looking at Heretics. They only need a couple
They
points.
should be fine.
They
Yeah.
should be totally fine.
Oh,
They've been
that's a hand
incredibly
warmer.
consistent. They just need about
That's
6.
so
you have
smart.
A wide array of varying degrees of like
Hey,
nervousness
Matt.
in the last 2
I'm
maps.
good. How are
Some with a
you?
Crazy amount. Some just a few points.
Well, the interesting thing about that Heretics conversation is they're coming off of a dead last
Starting in
place
20
with just 1
seconds,
kill.
chat.
You don't wanna
20
let that happen again.
seconds!
But in these last 2 drops, what we're going to be kind of looking at from a narrative
Oh,
point
he's
is
twisted. Do you
your
see those eye
outlier.
movements?
Was it 1 bad map? Or was your outlier 1 good map?
Yeah.
Because you have to be able to be consistent in these last 2. You cannot
Cross-eyed
afford to have
doing
another
that.
bad drop if you're any of those previously mentioned squads getting ready for these last 2 games, especially needing to put together 2 absolutely solid drops of around 15 points or so per drop.
Yeah, and frankly, I mean, I know we have the Falcons back in the building, but the only reason I even want to
You are
pay
purple.
attention to them, because they're at the top of the leaderboard with 2 free maps, right, is because they might be contesting Team Zix, who is not in the contention at the top. They are right there on the bubble. They need about 10 some
No,
odd
there's
points
no
to be somewhat
women in
comfortable.
this.
They would like a lot more than that, but if there's any team that can completely chalk your competition, it's this team. And this team tried to drop on at least part of the Falcons last year at World Series of Warzone, and they got obliterated for it. So it's like, run away from Shifty, maybe change up your drop spot. I don't know. He's the top slayer for a reason.
Yeah, and it's one of those situations where Zix has played a very wild set of drops so far, because you're right, it is one of those situations that in these particular matchups they find themselves fighting the Falcons all the time.
My God, there's floating gold
previously, when they're
pieces.
playing in their most recent 2 drops, they often fight teams like Na'Vi all the time, so they're really just squaring up with the big Goliath and seeing if the slingshot hits truly in the middle of the face.
Now, the difference about that Zix squad this time around is they've been practicing. They have been putting in the work. 30 some odd custom tournaments leading up to this. They are prepared and it's showing. Again, right on that threshold, just need a couple points. Now, I got to turn my eyes towards Amit. You talked about him before. Yep. We actually heard Seymour break down their entire team, their history, these Puerto Rican squad, picked up by Amit. I think it's Teenix that's been a part of Amit for over a year now as a content creator, competitor. This trio is good. Yep. They're not great, not yet, right? No. They need an average amount of points over the next couple games. Our average is around 12 points per game. They 24 points would put them up to
looking at
98, right at where Destroy is at. So just a hair above average, and they might make.
And they play a really weird strategy. When we were rewatching the games from yesterday, Amit would often just have one player fly into the water all the way out beyond the ship and just sit there until the respawns are closed. Everyone else just drops in, tries to find kills. Now, the thing about that is it's guaranteed them some pretty decent finishes where they've been able to get multipliers, but their kill tally is not up to snuff. That has to be different, especially from Teenix.
See, the big question for the Amit squad in my mind is Teenix as the anchor.
It was a reset. It was a reset.
The entire game
I did not get one single DM about LCQ.
Yeah, so the question is, when do
not
you call
one
him out of
single DM about LCQ. Not a single DM about even playing a practice scrim. Literally nothing.
If this map doesn't go well, if this map is below average,
so I am most definitely not going to be playing LCQ.
High reward. I expect us to be at around 9 to 10 teams after the second circle, not the third.
Yep. And I think just again to reestablish some narrative points that favor Amit, they are one of the teams that have one bad map as their outlier. Everything else has been right around that top 8 placement. So I think if you're CEO Rafi, you're probably happy to hear that. With your chances of just don't do that again, you should be okay. A different team, though, in terms of outliers on the other side, Cloud9. They had a great finish to yesterday. Not a great first 2 maps here, and they have to put together some white whale maps if they want to have a way to get into the top 14.
Look, some of our talent is just shaking in the back. We got Vitality on the fridge. We got Dangerous Cloud9 down in the dumps. I mean, 19th currently right now. Now, is it possible for this trio? Sure. They are a long-storied trio, maybe not together, but at least playing in Warzone tournaments. I mean, they've been competing for years now, and all 3 are really talented, but together, something's not working in Resurgence. So what I'm looking for is I need Bread to take control and get his team moving. They have not been able to stabilize today. It's been Jace and Joe trying to farm kills. Jace had a much better last map, but the problem was Joe wasn't able to get a ton of kills. Together as a duo, you see it from Shifty and Biffle often. They get sent out by Hisoka and they farm kills. This Joe-Jace duo is not playing together, at least not perfectly, and because of that, they're falling early.
I think the only moment, though, you look at Cloud9 and say, well, hold on a second, is Jace is playing better today. But, like you mentioned as well, Breadman as an anchor, you also wanted to be involved in terms of team fighting because he puts down damage. You know he's going to be able to get things going with an opening snipe, and that frees up the rest of the team to hopefully fly forward. But if you're staggered between those first 2 frontliners, then yeah, Bread really can't do anything besides lay prone inside of Water Tower and wait for his teammates to parachute back in. So the name of the game for teams like that are you have to start strong and hold that condition through when we get to the respawns disabling at the end of the 3rd circle.
Well, talking about the Fringe, new icons, Onyx Ravens, it's wild to say these 2 teams could qualify today. They are definitely in contention. They definitely can put up enough points. Onyx Ravens need sizably more than new icons. It is worth mentioning 57 points in total, which means they need about 43 in the last 2 maps. Is that possible for them? Yes, we've seen them win. The question is how many kills can they get this time around? Both of these teams got last and second to last in the solo seeding, but they're showing out in the group stages at least enough to be in the conversation. I am so excited to get to the last 2 maps. So many storylines, so many places for people to drop, and some likely falling early.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This one drop right here could essentially put you out of the running or maybe thrust you into the conversation towards being safe, which is massive, especially for those teams that find themselves on 80 points. Get your 15 here, put yourself in a good spot just to find a couple of kills and hopefully make it to tomorrow. But at the same rate, outside of just getting yourself past the bubble, could we potentially have a new favorite?
I think I'm the only gamer that sits back in their chair. I legit lean into my chair when I'm playing. I literally look like I'm the most chill gamer out there.
Yes, some of these
I'm just here for the vibes.
For a spot. Some of these teams are going to showcase to the world that
everybody else is like leaning into their monitor.
Top tomorrow. Here it is. Map number 5 is ready. We're dropping into Rebirth Island. And
let's go. Okay, they're dark blue this time, Chop.
The teams to keep your eye on. You're looking at teams like Omit, number 11 in orange. New icons, number 13 in that lovely soft shade of lavender. Onyx Ravens, 14 in that
I could never play like that,
color. And
actually.
Cloud9, number 4 in light blue. Keep your eyes open for that, as we got Omit already playing in the map,
Go
which is
Chris!
different than what we saw from moments yesterday.
Always dropping HQ.
And there's 3 teams here.
They just need average.
Third it. Yeah, beautiful third.
One of our average teams this time around.
Ben is down. Down bad and bleeding.
Immediately, another team that needs a big couple games. They're down next to Cloud9. They need to make a move, and they need to make a move now. And right now, it's not going well because, well, guess who's making the moves already? Heretics. We expected it. We're seeing it. They're likely already there.
Yeah, they should be pretty comfortable to make their way in towards tomorrow, which is, again, super impressive for them. Omit, a couple of kills here early. That's on to Noobs to at least finish off 1 for a guaranteed point. But the bigger part about this is they've got the rest of Gladiators around. And to put it frankly, Gladiators have been kind of farmed in these early games. You need to see them just exist, survive, and hopefully take more even battles, and that could cause some problems for Omit if they do turn up.
Well, Team Vitality is all the way up in bio by themselves. No one's even stirring in the bioweapons area. They're going to be hanging out for a long time up there, but Mojo's team on the move as expected. Onyx Raven, they got
Then down Bralic, but Bralic is going to have a self-revive. Oh, there you go. They got the full.
Nice. Going. Joe has finally tried to somewhat restabilize on top of this building by himself, just giving his team enough legs to stay in the competition for a moment and finally shooting back. But the problem is you got 2, 3, 4 players around. Nina's not going to take no for an answer.
Yeah, that looked like a moment where Joe may have gotten the snap because Nina's was caught on the mantle for a moment, but the health pool not fully reestablished. Joe able to get the self-revive up, but he should be chased down.
How is Joe still alive? Movement King!
And whoa, not the greatest movement here from Nanus, and well, Joe tried to jump on in to see if he can isolate the 1v1. Not going to work, and this is what we talked about. Redmond just has to sit on top of Water Tower and wait.
As much as I want to talk about Redmond's camping, it's all about Omit slaying.
Omit and them are doing really good right now.
Elo, but only for 3 seconds. JTech, Teenix in a bit of trouble, backing up and split from each other, by the way, so JTech can't play too aggressive here. A couple players flying back in, but he is fine. Here comes Teenix.
Oh, Eddie.
They're going to be jockeying with Fnatic this entire map, and they have to take them out not only for the points, but also for position.
And you want to talk about what Fnatic has done well through this tournament? Control the high ground around Prison. They have essentially dropped in and gotten that for free, and once the circle starts to shrink, they set up a Bermuda Triangle that you just don't want to wander into.
Bermuda Triangle is crazy.
It's worked for them so far. It's working for them again here now.
Already top slaying teams thus far. It's got to be Heretics. Method Squad up at 5 eliminations already. They are moving on their merry way well into the grand finals. I can only expect as Breadman is out. Cloud9 is eliminated. An utter breakdown on main stage.
So they are definitely not qualing. Yeah.
Quite put the competition together today. As
for sure, not qualing.
Will fall. Cloud9.
Fnatic is wasting so much time just sitting in this tower.
No, it feels like that is probably done.
When Eddie's not even in there no more.
Get, what, like 60 points off of 1 win? So they need 30 kills in a win, which has not been touched yet by just about anybody, including the Falcons, who have put together some high kill tallies. So not looking good for those boys. Now, over to the other part of the conversation here as we head down over towards Team 6. Vision Squad is not technically out of it. They're having a good start, 5 kills to this point in total, and more around the area. This is the Heretic squad that's a bit split, so they're going to have an opportunity to kind of win this left side of the map and maybe do some more damage.
Well, this is what we wanted Cloud9 to do. They're right next to each other on the leaderboard.
Oh, no.
18th and 19th,
Eddie.
nearly identical points.
Eddie, I need you to cook.
Been eliminated. One is nearly the top.
You're not napping anymore.
They have to keep moving though. They don't have enough points to sit back and play for multipliers. Go get your kills. And here's Teenix up in the tower. 0 eliminations. Team dying down below. They're trying to do that 2v1 strat and just not working. Not perfectly.
Yeah, Skull is
yet,
cooking.
But he has to stay alive for his team to get them back.
Let's go, Skull.
And there's some vying for positioning around headquarters right now, but keep your attention over towards the northeast side by Chem and Bioweapons, because there's a couple of squads that
about to die with 0.
Trying to figure out how they want to wrap back in. And
Oki and them are right behind Eddie, so
how do they get closer and closer to Prison? There's a buy station kind of on their way, so there is an opportunity once these respawns close for them to maybe use that, but there's going to be a lot of battles just outside that industry prison area.
Some good shots.
On Vitality. They were free and clear, but anytime you feel safe, guess who's lurking? It's Oki, just ruining their day.
Less good shots as the last one.
Squad has surprised a lot of folks with their slaying power, and they've been hunting the safe quote-unquote teams on the edge of the map that feel safe, feel comfortable. They come swinging
Let's
in.
go, Eddie. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
By the way, one of the only teams
that's what I'm talking about.
Really the entirety of the map.
Yeah, and they're hunting down these kills for Vitality, who again is one of our bubble teams, and Wiz is able to take down Exian. So great start here in terms of AB Wiz continuing to find themselves top of the leaderboard. Bad news if you're a Vitality fan, as all the last 3 members are going to be completely
Huskers and them are cooking this game.
Great news for them, so not overall what you want to see. Back over towards the Gladiators, a better start for them so far to this point.
Interesting, they took over Factory this time.
Position as Amit is around the area.
Just smart because Smit and Aiden aren't there, so it's going to be free. That's actually genius.
Towards this prison area as well.
Surprisingly, I was wrong about the amount of teams fully eliminated. These teams won a ton of points, but they're not going high risk, high reward. They're still playing this tried and true strategy. Maybe only the last map where they full send. Elo in trouble, 1v2, no chance, out of here. J-Tech gone as well. Yet again, it's Tinox up in the tower, I can only presume. Waiting, watching, getting
Imagine he gets sniped in the head.
Hopefully they can find some better success the next time around. This team, another squad, all moving together.
Yeah, and you know, Guild really has shown up in a great way. They didn't have a great start to yesterday, but they really put together a couple of great games in a row. First and a second place back-to-back. Now looking pretty strong in terms of total kills.
All of them are in a blender this game. They're not getting very many kills.
Onyx Ravens. How could they possibly find their way in? One member dropped at the moment. LX is going to be able to get themselves back into the picture, surely. Only 3 total kills, though, for Onyx Ravens. They're not the slayest, or the heaviest of slaying teams, rather, I should say. So they need to find some way
they might get wiped.
Get a good position.
Soka's getting hunted.
Falcons in one of the probably hottest waters they've been in thus far. Soka in trouble by himself. Biffle just barely
Biffle just...
Falcons, of course, fully safe, but they want to add an emphasis. They want to add that exclamation point to their performance thus far. They want to win it all, and right now they're poised to do so. But Biffle has been flying back in for a while, is floating way over to the edge of the map, just trying to stay alive.
Go score!
Back to our Crimp squad, shooting at them, still alive right on that edge.
None of the players are allowed to stream.
Vitality back with all 3 members have Onyx Ravens top right-hand side of the map. Both will be fine to get into this next circle as it moves really not too far. It's an even split, so there is no slow or fast side for really anyone at the moment. It just comes down to who do you read around you and what gunfights do you want as we keep going up towards prison.
Omit versus Zix. 2 teams on the threshold, 1 team needing a lot more points than the other. Zix only needing about 10 and 2. Omit needing about 26
It's not really all that surprising to me.
3v2.
Like I said, Warzone, I explained this yesterday, but Warzone is the only esports that allows their players to stream while competing.
And gets punished. It's now J-Tech trying to keep his team in this.
No other esport allows players to stream their own POV on their own channel.
And Gladiators heard all of that. We're looking down upon that from top headquarters, and it looked like they may actually try to dive in for a third party, but Fnatic was watching them. So it's a little bit of you watching, me watching him situation.
Right now they're in 4th, but they're also 2 maps behind the teams ahead of them, except for Soka, Falcons, and them. So after this game, they should climb up the ranks a little bit. I think they're already in 4th.
Teammate behind will anchor, but they need to rotate.
Then they have one more game after this.
Heretics have been this guerrilla just swatting people out of trees constantly. They're consistently playing spoiler to any team trying to get anything going. This Heretic squad surprising a lot of folks on the map and at home. Very well done thus far. But new icons, they need a big one. Another team
the
way
snipe,
down the bottom in solos, been
tragic.
Performing fairly strong in groups. This is
Creepy
also
crawler,
one of those teams
creepy
that has
crawler.
a couple hot games and a lot of cold games as well. They get hot one more time, they might make.
They're hot right now. 9 kills, all 3 members still alive. Just a little bit of battle on rotation to get in towards that HQ position around Factory as we head back into prison. AG Global, really a disappointing group stage for them to this point.
Let's go, Eddie. That was a big one. Eddie's still alive. Bottom prison.
7 individual kills.
And got a kill as well, so Skull should be coming back fairly quickly.
Besides Zedark, though, that's going to give them 10 in total, so they got a long way to go. This is already looking pretty decent, but the third
Eddie!
problem, Castillo following up will make sure Noobs cannot confirm the kill. Hey, AG Global will stay alive with 2 members.
Welcome to the game, AG Global. Might be too little too late. We'll see. They got to do it again next map, and they need the multiplier. We still have 13 teams remaining. Color me surprised.
Yeah.
I did not expect to see this. These teams not necessarily playing scared, strategic, what have you. They're not full sending. They just need average points if they're in the middle.
Did Eddie die
board.
before the resurgence timer went out?
Global, they got to keep sprinting around this map. But here's Mojo. Here's the Onyx Ravens. They're still alive. They've been doing a good job of this. They're right inside the circle, right on the edge, trying to make a move here shortly.
And the interesting battle here is the fact that you've got Vitality potentially fighting right over the middle, Respawn fully disabled. So all these engagements down towards the bottom side of Prison and over towards headquarters about to get absolutely nasty.
I think the Codcaster is really phenomenal. Like, this is like really great.
Full wipe, but they've been quiet looting up. They are back full 3, and you know what they like to do late game? They're a major threat, and they're looking to chase down kills.
I think the only thing that they could improve with the Esports World Cup is maybe having like a listen-in portion.
We do lose one. That's Pat Zuka out of here, gone, off the lobby. Only one more to go. Watch out. They need a banger on the next one to maintain their position, but we head to Clapper and Rocket down near the bottom of the leaderboard. They needed a big map here to make sure they're staying in contention, and right now it's just J-Tech lurking below. Have you ever seen that?
This will be in World Series of Warzone. The only time that this ever comes out is for World Series of Warzone, and I guess this tourney.
At this point, not a lot of kills though, just 4 for Amit. So this has not been a great game for them as you look back over the minimap again. Keep your eye on that right side of Prison. You've got a quick rotation from Onyx on the way in. They find themselves some safety. We got a huge collection of teams over towards the right-hand side.
Amit didn't get the multiplier,
which
is unfortunate.
Any major multiplier. Not a great game here for Amit.
Rocket out. 3 teams right on the threshold being eliminated left, right, and center as the Falcons begin their tear in this map. It came a little bit later than usual, but this time it looks a lot like the first couple maps.
Is Ben Skull is last alive, I think, on that team. Oh no, and Ben. Okay, good. Good.
I won't even call it barely breathing. They were able to keep everyone alive as Gladiators being torn off screen. This Onyx Ravens squad still has a chance. They need
I'm confused what you're saying,
Penguini. They need their multipliers. We're not into a multiplier yet.
Yeah, but the thing about it is there's chaos over towards Prison, and that's the fast side of the circle coming up here. It's going to be wide out in the open. There's barely going to be even a shred of buildings to play off of with this next circle coming up. So this battle, this rotation is everything. AG Global done and dusted, and wouldn't you know it, it's Team Zix putting together again. A little bit of a hot streak here as you try to rotate into circle number 5.
Oh, I feel so bad.
After you killed Soka or Skull.
They had 15 eliminations but did not net a multiplier. It's just too little, too late.
I think Ben is going to go for the res in the zone.
Out in 8th. They got some multiplier. The question is how many kills? Probably not enough. Not yet.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Mojo, Onyx Ravens on the edge. They're playing their PDS play.
They got the multi, which is good.
They don't have a clear path.
He could try to get top 5 here. Ben should try to... he's not going to get it. He just went down.
The only team that might beat them there is the Falcons and AB Wiz. AB Wiz is there. AB Wiz is there to play spoiler. Can the Onyx Ravens push and take down one of our top teams?
The smoke cover is so good. Nanus, he may be trying to play as a little bit of bait here. See if he can pull out some of these members for AB Wiz who had them just...
That's what World Series was last year, Penguini. Oh, but we all streamed our POVs at World Series of Warzone. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Still being fought for is really no one wants to go out into the open. You've got Onyx Ravens just looking for cover wherever they can find it, and it's the front left tire of the truck.
The reason you don't want to be here, the problem is you're going to get pinched by 3-4 teams as they rotate in. We're down to 4, and they're all going to shoot you if you're not careful. So Imlich knows he has to push, he has to make the flank, and he finds one. Great points on the board, but you need more. You're into the top 5. You get 1.4x multiplier.
Bunker Buster.
1.7. You got to get second place. To get second place at this point by nearly just yourself, you've got to make a heroic play against Abwiz, and Abwiz knows that he is hiding in the corner behind the pipes. Everybody
Look at them are going to win again.
And Imlich is not leaving it up for a chance.
Dude, this is great from Onyx. They're actually split here and in a position to crossfire the remaining members for Falcons who find themselves trying to find out where exactly are these guys.
Yeah, he's in it 2v1. They're going to win again.
Cover through the gas, but they have no clue where
the
Onyx Ravens are. Mobile buy station out. Shifty's going to be able to get back Biffle, and
you should just die to the zone. You're in a 1v3, pal.
Like from these individual positions.
Onyx Ravens a local, Team Falcons a local, and unfortunately the Falcons tear them down. They celebrate another victory. Couple key points here, Shift. Falcons have not lost today. They have not lost a map today.
He almost got wiped in the middle of the game as well. That is crazy. Dang, Breadman wasted no time. Wait, Breadman is streaming.
Dude, the thing about
Wait, that's genius.
Put it out there on the air and ask for the request from Brody or Seymour. How do they regain after being down to Biffle flying in, barely makes the threshold on the respawn to get to be full fighting condition. They're so darn patient as soon as they get to that circle number 3.
I was going to say, Birdman wasted no time. I thought he was already live.
Get ourselves looted up. See if we can get some cash. See if we can get our loadouts back. Then when they do, let's get in position and let's rip everyone apart.
One more point about this team is exactly what you mentioned. They're nearly unkillable. Unkillable and unwipable. You see it in Big Map, you see it in Resurgence.
I mean, like, yeah, you can't even be mad about it. They're dominating right now.
And this is what every team talks about when they're facing Team Falcons. They say, how do we full kill them? We see one down, we have to swing on him. When you swing on him, you get punished in a 2v3. You just lose.
Yeah, they're streaming, like, they're streaming the stream.
Losing to the Falcons, but
exactly like what I'm doing.
They had a sizable game there. This time, a few more kills, double-digit eliminations. They're well above average. The question is it going to be enough going into the last game? They've got to do it again. But a 1.7x multiplier was massive, and it was on the back of Imlix. They made a huge flank play on AB Wiz and completely broke down that team.
Yep, and that's what we need to see in terms of how do you possibly win out these odd man situations.
If they win this and they win World Series of Warzone, they 100% can claim the title of being the best trio, like a dynasty trio. 100%.
Stay alive, get to that top 2 position, and Onyx Ravens have done not just well in this game, they've been great today. They've got themselves a win, a 5th place, and now a 2nd place with 1 game to play. They're looking good today.
Look, they're looking really strong. I was talking to Mojo, barely missed out on global finals last year for different competitions, and yesterday, they wanted to prove that they're one of the best teams. A couple locals, by the way. Imlix, a local here in Saudi Arabia, representing Onyx Ravens. Really excited about this squad and excited to see if they can do it again in the next map. They still need a sizable amount of eliminations, and they need that placement, which they've been very good about, at least today.
The other part about it, Amit, Vitality, they did not do much, so they're still very much so in the hot seat.
They're doing good.
Hear more from our analysts. Let's head over.
I think they'll be in 3rd or 4th.
The analyst desk.
Oki and them will pass them.
I hold shift. That's game number 5 done. The first chance we had to see B play C. There's only one more chance, one more map to go to determine who will be top 14 and then who will be our bottom 7, joining the likes such as Alula. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, though. Falcons,
I mean, they're competitors. They want to keep proving themselves over and over and over again.
The first ones to go back-to-back, and now the first ones to win 3. There's only 6 maps played throughout the day, and after all, they play for themselves, and they've won 3 of them so far.
Listen, when you think, again, we talked about this even on the solos day. Both Biffle and Shifty, always the elimination leaders, even on
Chomps, I'm good. How are you?
Top 2 easily. But once they start going, once they start winning that momentum, it's almost unstoppable. So I had said that. I think I said to one of you guys, I was like, what if they went all 4 today? What if? And now they just need one more. Can I just throw my notes at this point?
Actually, so fact check me on that, right? They played 3 so far.
Yeah, TBE was really dominant in Verdansk and Caldera.
They literally go 4 for 4. What a nutty stat line that I wasn't expecting. I know Falcons fans have been going nuts out there. They've been chanting and getting loud for their crew of the Falcons. They're just such an incredible team, and they could very well break 200. We go through the highlights, but we still have to hit the Falcons and some plays that they made that, well, made the game.
Yeah, I mean, I towards the end of the game, I do want to bring up the one with the buy station. It's kind of funny, right? Because Falcons, I mean, wherever Falcons are, there's always going to be a buy station. And if there's not, you know what Falcons will do? They'll bring one in. It's crazy the amount that we see it. Of course, they bring Biffle back in towards the end of the game. We also saw Biffle in the middle of the game do his usual thing. I mean, honestly, at this point, Biffle just making these clutch plays isn't really a surprise. It's just Biffle being Biffle.
Right, and who was that? Remember, I think it was Onyx Ravens, right, that was kind of contesting them. Hisoka stayed alive long enough just for Biffle to get respawned in. And what does Biffle do? You saw them kind of taking shots at him. He's like, no, I'm going to reposition. I think he went over kind of by control of the dock side, the regain boat. But the regain, they were able to do it, and
no, Verdansk was TBE 1000%. They like won nearly everything in Verdansk.
Yeah, that was Biffle staying alive, right, getting his team back in. If Biffle doesn't stay alive in that moment, like you said, they do not win their 3rd game of the day. So right now they're batting 100, and I gotta say I am absolutely.
That's Chris and Eddie were also really crazy in Verdansk.
And those boys must be going nuts at this point in time. And there's Biffle on your screen, but there are also some other great plays. We saw Oki several times throughout this map. And then, of course, we want to talk about maybe some negative things. Let's talk about, well, C9's early exit.
Yeah, C9's early exit was unfortunate, and some of these plays today, I mean, they played, you know, pretty decent
Shout out
yesterday,
winning
but
World
today
Series
kind of
Warzone.
seemed questionable on some of these like regain moments or landing spots. But I believe Brody, you had mentioned like they had repositioned from one side of the map to the other.
Right, yeah. So we've seen C9 spawning in towards Harbor. That's been their drop pretty much all game long. I think it's been their drop pretty much all week or days long. I guess. A couple of days long. I don't know what the word for that is. But you know, they must have gone down because they made a very quick rotation very early on, if not over towards Abwiz on docks. Now, if it is a reposition, I gotta be honest, you should know that Wiz is gonna be there.
They haven't shown it yet.
Not be going for a Wiz. Like, I know you gotta imagine yourself as the competition to beat. You gotta imagine yourself as the venomous squad. I still would not be challenging Prodigy and Oki in the way that they've been playing. That is a bold reposition from them.
Can I just say, though, speaking of challenging LX, right, like Onyx Ravens, they have been lighting it up. Also, AG Global, right? 15 kills, didn't hit that placement, but they are slaying out today.
Yeah, they've been slaying out. Onyx Ravens have really taken over and come into full form. I can't wait to see them potentially tomorrow as they're well on their way to doing so. Well, let's bring in our casters as we transition to the final game of the day.
Final game of the day!
I'm calling it, baby. I'm loving it. And Falcons 3 for 3. Do we get a 4 for 4?
I don't know. They need it. They need a win, frankly. They've moved up the leaderboard. Onyx Ravens is the team to watch out for.
That's right.
Great placements. They gotta have kills. Taylor, I'm just so excited you all talked about this team. This Onyx Ravens team was last in solo seeding.
That's right.
Ridiculous feat to move this far. But Shift, we're looking at Omit, Ravens, Vitality, Icons as still on the threshold.
Icons,
and I don't know.
I might play an attorney, but it's gonna be later tonight.
Getting your point, Taylor. Like,
so I'll be doing 2 streams today because I've been streaming a lot since this tournament. Since this tournament.
At the moment. And
That's
the fact that they have gotten 3 in a row, 4 in total, I think there's definitely a high chance that they just keep doing what they do to get 5 total, 4 in a row. I think they can do it.
Yeah, I kind of question too Team Zix, right? Team Zix, another team that's on that edge.
Good, thank you.
I think they're going to be all right, but they still have to continue to fight hard. The fact that they almost eliminated the Falcons, Biffle staying alive,
how are you?
shows tremendous prowess of what they can do. But I'm ready to get it started. Let's head into our final game of the day, boys, and see who takes it all.
All right, Shift. We got to take a look at that leaderboard, man. This is a crazy data point set. You and I are nerding out about the points right now because Falcons have somehow breached 200 points.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
That's a 40-point average in 5 games.
200 points is
ridiculous.
Crazy.
These guys are
It is
dominating.
crazy.
The big question mark is all about the threshold. Looking at Icons, Vitality, Omit, Ravens, they all need sizable games in all varying degrees of difficulty. New Icons basically need an average map, 13 points.
Yep. And on the other side of things, for Team Eisen, destroying
I think
PSL,
we do. I think we do.
Really hate Vitality, Omit, and Onyx Ravens right now because
I don't
you
know.
could still find yourselves
We
in
have
that top
both.
14 if they have
The black
bad
bag, I think,
maps.
is
So
the chili, the hot
last
chili.
drop before we say farewell, not only the teams, but also
Whatever.
some of their keys.
We've got 6 more teams that need to crush their keys, all right?
Yes.
I'm going to get crazy. Almond in trouble immediately. Shotgun in hand, able to trade out one. Guess who it is? It's Omit. They've got to go on a tear, and they got to go now. Start at the very beginning of the game. Take out your competition.
Wait, why is Eddie in
This is
control?
exactly what you want to see if you're Omit. You've got to thwart this Fnatic squad. They're safe. They're trying to play spoiler to you. This is what you want from Elo.
That is bold. Omit say, hey guys, remember that time that Fnatic in the last handful of times we played them keep landing
So
top bridges?
confused.
Let's chow them and beat them. Now all of a sudden, Omit find themselves with good kills early. They're in a
love
great
spicy
position,
foods.
and the early circle pull is actually going to force everyone to move their direction. So they are going to be feeling really happy about their chance to stay over towards headquarters.
He has such a bad gun.
I love this call from Omit. Whoever their IGL is for this game and this game alone, I am loving. They've got to go on the offensive, and they've got to take
They
down
lost their
this
initial
team
gunfight,
right here,
chat. They
Fnatic.
lost their initial
They had to drop
gunfight.
Prison. They've been contesting them all day between HQ and Prison, but this time they dropped straight on their heads, and they're winning right now.
I love it. It's a bold call, but hey, you don't play scared when your life is on the line. You play like you've got nothing to lose.
$1 million, man.
It absolutely is, and it absolutely works out perfectly for them.
Yeah,
The
they're
only
just
other team
gonna
that's
be,
nearby
they're
is
literally
AG
gonna be in a
Global
blender all
in a
game
way for
long
that.
now.
But the big question is Onyx Ravens, who are going to be forced to take a couple of early gunfights.
Toms, thank you so much for the 2 months. I appreciate that so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
LX at least keeps Cloud9 at bay a little while longer.
Guess who's striking while the iron's hot? It's New Icons way off onto that far right-hand side. They're the ones pinching Cloud9. Cloud9 can't get anything going because they got 2 teams shooting at them. all time.
You should maybe try to regain Factory.
Together to take down Cloud9, looking for some quote-unquote easy kills
yeah, Factory
on the
is
map.
free,
so we'll
actually.
which team's able to get those kills, or maybe Cloud9 can strike back in the final map. But time is ticking, and it looks like our Onyx Ravens are backing up and readdressing this fight from a different angle, and Joe getting punished for it.
You can't make mistakes right
Aiden
now.
was the only team going Factory, so them not in here, I would try to go
You
Factory.
gotta give yourself a little bit of a lifeline. So as much as you'd love to get some kills, and they're actually still being given opportunities by Cloud9, who, to mention, by the way, are probably done and dusted at this point.
Yeah.
That's great news for the terms of Onyx.
Nice pick, Eddie. Get the
Thank you for your loot, and now we can get together again.
We got to talk about new icons, though. Again, need an average map, and right now they're just pushing back their competition. If they're at the front of the race right now for that threshold, they're right at 12th going into this map. They're basically boxing everybody out that's trying to pass around them. So this is going to be a really close one right at that threshold, and you're right.
Jace and Joe just landed on 2 people.
Right now, 98 points, not playing right now.
They're going to get wiped.
Biding their time and waiting. It is going to be so close for that team. I love me some Destroy. We'll see if they make grand finals. I'm sure he's going to be screaming if some of these threshold teams do end up falling early.
Eddie's
and the
Fnatic.
thing about it is neither are Onyx Ravens nor new icons giving up by playing a different rotation. They will fight each other again. And like we mentioned, that's great news for the teams in Group A that are on the bubble. Let those guys go to battle with one another. Hopefully one wipes the other, and that's one team that you don't have to worry about anymore. And it looks like new icons are making the move. It's Drake who's up and forward by himself. The rest of the team coming on their way, though.
Doing well.
It is about to get stacked out by Omit.
Here in the first circle is a huge boon. I want to take a look at that
Vitality
squad. Enigma is yelling at me to tell me where are they, what are they doing, and guess what? They're way up in bio. They had to make the biggest rotation because of the zone we were given, and they're all split up in trouble. So they need to restabilize as much as possible. You do see Pazuka fall, get an elimination there in the kill feed. Guild does fall and is fully eliminated. That's a big boon for other teams. Guild's going to be just fine if you're a big fan of Guild. They might fall into about 10th or so if things go towards these other teams, but it is extra points that are still on the board that a really good team could have taken.
That's exactly right, because you got to remember that Fnatic started off with being out of that position.
They're in
top
such a blender.
Now finding an opportunity to kind of get a little bit more loose, a little bit more free. Still finding a couple of members for Fnatic who desperately don't want to get rid of this position. They keep dropping right on into that topside prison. So they look like they want to keep fighting, and I'm sure at this point Omit are saying, yeah, keep on coming. Why not?
Yeah, Omit wants this. They've got him on their heels. They've got him on their back foot. They're stumbling. This Fnatic squad stumbling back, keep punishing them, and frankly, take down 2, leave the last alive, and keep shooting. They've got now like 6-7 kills, I think, at this point. 6 kills for Omit. Top
6 kills for Omit is really good because they're right on that. They're right on the bubble.
Jace gets another.
Really good stuff from Cloud9. Again, regaining. Not losing full focus, but
let's go, Benjamin. Nice kill.
Same position here
now Biffle and them have pushed up to Omit
right now. And keep in mind that floating around is Omit and as well.
Wait, Omit might get wiped here.
And Gladiators, again, they're probably out of the running at this point pretty convincingly, but they're making it a bit of a mess as you look at your overall rankings again popping up. The Team Eisen still hanging on, 104 points. They are really hoping that no one pops off behind them.
I'm telling you, this Heretic squad, you cannot sleep on them. Yes, will they make
nice Skullface, good trade, good trade.
I have a feeling they're going to be in contention for the top grand finals. Watch out for the Spaniards. They are dominating today. They have been a fantastic trio here in Resurgence on Rebirth Island. But we'll go back to Vitality. They have been struggling with just 2 this map. Pazuka does finally get back in. Nice shots on the Heretics team.
Where are Vitality sitting at? I think they're like near the bottom.
This is a high
I think they still have an opportunity to qual. Skull is going crazy this map. Good stuff, Skull.
Right there into the mix.
And finished 13th last game, but to your point, 6 kills. So there's no
Oki and them are fighting Biffle right now.
Wanting to take fights, but maybe there needs to be. As we look over towards the kill feed again, more action in the mix. In particular, Cloud9 finding a couple of members.
This is last
from
map,
that new
Malevi.
Squad. Zixed as well. Also
Falcons have won every single game so far.
Right now, and looking to kind of anchor things up.
They've been playing in
rotation deep through water, backside of Stronghold.
Here's the problem with Onyx Ravens. We told you that they needed a ton of kills. They are so destabilized. Right now.
JTech and them are on a regain, a really bad regain.
They would really need to get stabilized, find a loadout, get resources to even make a play at the amount of kills they need. I mean, we're looking at maybe a 15-kill win. I mean, they need a lot of points here, and only 3 kills to their name. Finding 12 on this map. I know we're only at second circle.
Soga just killed Eddie.
It's difficult for them. They've hardly been able to do it.
Where's the trade?
Tournament. So we'll see what happens. Got to make a move.
There's the trade. Skull, good stuff. Good trade.
And the problem is JTech already crash landed.
Skull is killing it right now.
All of a sudden, has got to be making a call of what do? We need points, but none of us have loot. We don't know where we can contest. We know
no money. Yep. Well, technically, if you get eliminated, you get the 5K each for placing like last.
For them is how many freaking wins are they going to pull for this group stage? Looking for a full perfect day for 4 in a row. LX and the Onyx Ravens still contesting, and that's a big first blood. Biffle drops.
Great timing on that fight.
Yeah, this is just to go to finals. So 7 teams today are getting eliminated, but even if you get eliminated today, you get 5K each.
By the way, of the entire tournament. They haven't lost yet, and they don't intend to do so now. They are here to make a statement. Yes, we're focusing on Threshold.
So Jukies and them are already eliminated. They've already they're already done playing. Huskers and them are now completely eliminated, and Breadman and them are completely eliminated. There's no chance for them to, but they are still playing. But there's no way that they can qual.
Stronghold's pretty much given towards the Falcons. The last 2 members for Onyx Ravens have to rotate away. Keep your eye, though, on what's happening over towards Factory. In particular, Team 12, Zix, kind of on the inside of the rotation.
Good stuff, boys.
This position at headquarters. This comes down to
Mate is like right on the cusp. And that's who Eddie and them are always fighting. So
here's that battle happening right over.
We'll see if they qual or not.
Zix still in the area. New Icons trying to get involved.
Man, I love this Zix squad. Taylor has been shouting about them from the rooftops. They've put in the work, and it's being shown on broadcast. They are going to make grand finals. They're having a great map thus far, restabilizing. And
dude, Skull is actually going insane this game.
3 teams fully eliminated.
He's actually going Pope mode.
They will not be making the grand finals. Key will be crushed. We've seen a couple other teams fall as well. So unfortunate timing for the boys, but I'm sure they'll battle back in other competitions.
Yeah, absolutely the case. And this is, again, another look over towards the mid.
They're fighting Soka there for a little bit, but
is the one being trusted to try to drop in somewhere and find some loot, but he can't get anywhere. I mean, they keep circling around where the Falcons are, so not.
I mean, they barely show them. They literally. I would love to see like the breakdown of like the teams.
All 3 members back and ready to fight.
Unfortunately, we just see Inxian fall. Team Vitality eliminated off screen. That likely means they won't make. It might be kind of close. It really depends. We don't want to call it before it's finalized. That team was close, and they only had around, I think, 8-9 kills.
Resurgence is about to.
It's going to be real close. They're going to be right around that 90-point margin. We're
Joe got Resurgence. Elo Lamb got Resurgence. Jace got Resurgence. Everybody else will not be getting Resurgence.
They're looking for that multiplier. Keep up the pace, gentlemen. You could see this team in the grand finals, which would be a surprise to a lot of folks at home.
This is a good rotation from New Icons. They're going to come into a little bit of trouble here, but whoa, Drake just runs right back through Crimson Co. So Exist are like, whoa, wait a second. New Icons are here. How do they get through? Lucanas finding himself a corner in the bathroom. No forward play at the moment. Big win from Drake.
That was a big one.
On the other side, and
oh, he's going to get flanked. Oh,
not going to happen, and New Icons will drop.
Brazilian team is out.
Kills, maybe a touch over that, but still.
This is a big team fight for Eddie and them because this is the team that's right above them. Yo, Joe, that's a precision airstrike.
We have more competition at hand, though. Imlex, top player for this Onyx Ravens squad, continuing to be the last one remaining for this team. They need a big map, and right now it's not looking like it. Onyx Ravens fall, likely not making grand finals.
Okay, then we're gonna win this.
Are starting to fall into place.
Look at where they're at.
Of the grand finals becoming a clearer picture, but it's not done yet. Zix, Omit is the big squad we're looking at. Both these 2 teams on the fringe. Zix likely there, Omit likely not. They need a big game.
And on the other side, guess who's fully
Omit had such a good start, and then they got into the biggest blender ever.
Superiority on the bottom side of this circle. Team Vision trying to rotate in from their top. It looks like someone is watching over that. That's the top side player on the minimap. Not
we got
sure
2 portable buys.
They're looking directly that direction. And yeah, they're even saying, drop the airstrike right on me, friends, because it is Biffle. He's seen Rocket. He's trying to hold this off 1v3.
Yeah, this has got to be just brutal if you're watching at home. If you're not a fan of the Falcons for whatever reason, you're cheering on another team, just to have free reign over that side of the map likely means they will win this, but we'll get there.
Yeah, they're going to definitely win this.
To be done for this Omit squad.
Those head glitches on those walls are crazy.
It's not enough. They only have 7 eliminations between this trio, nearly fully on the back of Elo right now. There is a Cloud9
Goldface in them,
at least with 2.
making a big row here, a big row.
They trade, or is Elo going to win the 1v2? forces the equation, pushes the
Oh,
fight, and unfortunately
they're
falls.
wiped.
Omid is out of here as on the other side. Phoenix gets pushed at the exact same time.
I don't think
might
Omid
not make.
qualled.
They've only got a 1.2x multiplier. There are going to be a lot of teams on the fringe.
Nice, they got 2
competition is gonna
knocks.
come down to likely a single point.
Skull went down.
Legitimately, I think our difference between
He's not full,
14th
though.
and 18th is going to be about 5 points. We head over to Vision,
Oh,
though.
Skull
They're
got the
not
full on
done,
Soka.
and they still could potentially put together a burner if
Soka
they
got the
win, though.
full
That's
on
the thing.
Skull.
They're going to have
Yeah.
to get high kills and win to have a chance. They're currently sitting at about
And
14.
got killed.
But this feels like a victory lap right now for Falcons. They're sitting
Yeah,
here
they win
20
this
total kills,
100%.
full control of the circle,
100%
and
they
everyone
win
else is
this.
just trying to stagger their way in. Their biggest opponent, I would say, would be Vision playing just above them.
Yeah, this Vision team, like, surprisingly has a full team of 3 up. They actually have really good position. Look at this zone pull. They get the zone pull. They have to win. How many kills do they have?
Ferdinand just landed on
14 kills.
Eddie.
They could do this.
Okay, no.
It's not done for Team Vision. If you're a fan of this squad, you better be screaming at your screen right now. They need all of these kills, and they need a win.
It's going to
And
be
even
up to
that will
this
only
team
get them close.
to wipe
This is coming down to
Biffle.
tiny margins, and the only team that even has an option to make that isn't there is that Vision squad.
Because
The
Eddie's a
Falcons
solo, he can't
hear
do
the
anything.
crowd. They're here to win. They are not trying to lose a single map today, as finally that Zig squad fully eliminated. We're down to the final 4.
And Shifty's also taking good shots over towards Cloud9. Noobs who's
Eddie's
just
so
trying
weak.
to finesse as long
He's
as he
so
possibly
weak.
can for the rest of Fnatic to get some placements. It's not going to be much in terms of what they're able to do. I mean, they're already guaranteed. It's all about
This
what
team
can
has
Vision
ground
find.
loot.
They need, like you
they're
mentioned, to
not
wipe the
winning.
entire floor plus win. Tall ask, but maybe an opportunity because the circle continues to allow them a chance
Eddie
to
just
move
died to
in freely.
zone.
Uh-oh. Vehicle. What the Lord?
Oh, that was Eddie in the car.
Everywhere. Noobs come soaring in, looking for some eliminations. Look who's getting all
way.
the kills.
Everybody's
It's
starting to
Team
gas.
Falcons. They're wiping the whole lobby. Team Falcons have the world at their fingertips, and they will not
They
give
won
a
again.
single person
They won
a
again.
single inch. They are taking every kill, and they're
They
likely
won
taking
again.
the win.
Yeah,
Cloud9
he bought back and
trying
then
to
he
make
grabbed
a
the car
heroic
and then he
effort
drove
in
the
the
car
final
into
hour.
the
It's just
zone.
not going to be enough. Vision is still in it, just barely, really only at the behest of Joa, who's playing spoiler to Vision getting fully wiped.
This doesn't feel fair. I mean, this is ridiculous. Almond, Skullface,
They have
White,
so many kills.
Say farewell to
They
Fnatic.
have so
Now
many
it's just down to what
kills.
the remaining members here
And now
for
the
Cloud9
last,
and Vision can do.
they're
Wow.
so
The shots
good.
across the shotgun
Shifty
building
and
here,
them
Bears
to-
continue to allow kills to come out.
Wow.
And Falcons will go perfect on the day.
4
They
for
win
4
5
wins.
out of 8 total drops. Shut the front door. These guys are looking to dominate.
Unbelievable performance from the Falcons. The onus of
4 for
responsibility shifts
4.
on their shoulders. Every single person expected them to win. I
Not like
don't
this.
know that we expected them to go perfect. I will be frank. I don't know, especially in group stages where all they needed to do was get top 14. I don't know
Wow.
that anyone expected them to do this. Day 1 of solos. I heard Quickshot in the HQ questioning if they were the team we were saying they were. Quickshot, if you're listening. Yeah,
They're so good at
they are at the top.
positioning themselves in a place that forces everybody else to fight except for them.
54 points. It's the top by a sizable margin. And guess who they're beating out? Themselves. 24 eliminations with a win before at 48 points.
Like, that's what they do. They let everybody fight. They let everybody fight. So then everybody loses a member and they're not a full 3 while they're just sitting there.
Look at this. They're set up.
And then them as a full 3, they just full force is a bulldozer through teams. It's crazy. It's a clean slate tomorrow.
A lot of maps to be done, but here's that final fight we were talking about. The Falcons set up a perfect trio push here. and
That's
because the
just
other two teams
absolutely
had to fight each other,
mental.
They just came in and cleaned up. I know that our Twisted Minds team have the janitor on the squad, but I don't know what this team is. Maybe the garbage man. They're taking out all the trash.
Brother, ew. I mean, that is disgusting. Absolutely filthy stuff for the Falcons. But now we really got to get into the numbers, right? Yeah. And I'll be curious to see who ends up where, because for Team Aizen, for Team Destroy,
Like, you have to tip it. Like, their position, like, their positioning,
and of course,
like,
a couple of
flawless.
from both
Literally
Vitalities and Amit
flawless.
that did not necessarily give us the confidence to say they did enough. It's going to be very curious and very close in terms of who gets to our top 14.
I loved casting those final maps, but the good news is we don't have to do all the maps. So we're going to send it over to our analyst and our host to take it away. Gentlemen, I am blown
Yeah, they can
away
take it
by
tomorrow.
the
It's
impact.
not over. It's really not
The Dream
over.
are on top. The Falcons are on top, and we're right there with them.
Heck yeah, we're on top, coach, because we know what's up. I mean, at first I was like, man, 1, 2, 3, 4. We predicted.
I think it starts at the same time. So 11 a.m. EST.
Game moments when it's chaotic.
Tomorrow is 8 games.
And a lot of that is credit to, of course, Biffle, Shifty picking up those eliminations. But
no. Tomorrow, clean slate, everybody on 0.
They were utilizing that wall.
We're gonna find out everybody that got eliminated, though.
Hisoka throwing that C4 on top, knocking out his old teammate Skullface. If you remember, yes, they got second last year at the World Series of Warzone with Mayapo. So old teammate fight in those last game moments. Oh my gosh. 4 for 4.
4 for 4, 5 of 8, right? I mean, you want to talk about the most dominating performance.
No production. His mic ain't working.
On the world stage, this is the first time ever anyways. The Falcons are not disappointing. The whole team coming out big now. They've got to replicate that for tomorrow. We'll see how well they continue to do. Infinity Falcons, man. Good call. They are big.
No production.
I mean,
the mic ain't working.
Questions, right? I mean, that's why you and I, we went for Fnatic. That's why you went for Twisted Minds. And yeah, all right, Ellen, we were wrong. It's okay, mate. But we had questions about how they would translate to Resurgence. You know, yes, they're dominant in big map, but when it comes to Resurgence, do they continue on? Yeah, they do.
I mean, like, it's not done yet. We still have another day. So, like, the Falcons show up today, but Brody, you know, our predictions, they're not totally finished just yet. But the thing that was really interesting about what was going on the day was the fact that Onyx Ravens were coming back because of the Falcons' success. The Falcons non-stop were stealing away all of the points, and that allows for the teams that were kind of in towards the bottom to have a chance to climb a little bit.
I don't know. We're about to find out. I don't know if they got second. I don't think they did. I think they got maybe third.
Yep.
4th?
Yeah, well, you know what? We got to talk about the MVP, though, because we were kind of talking about this, and we said maybe Onyx Ravens if they clutched up, but no! Falcons do it again. Biffle is your MVP. And you know what? I think we got an interview ready. We're going to go ahead and toss it.
You know what's crazy is that in this trio,
ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Biffle and Falcons!
in this trio, I don't think that Soka gets the love that he deserves to get.
Here, but Biffle, look. Earlier today, you're having a chat with Barney on the interview, and the whole team was saying, we want to strike fear in the hearts.
Like, Shifty is a phenomenal player. Biffle is a phenomenal player, but that team was not dominant the way that they are without Soka.
Is unheard of, you know, never been done on land. So, yeah, definitely struck fear in people's hearts today.
And you feel that you've earned this MVP title today?
To be honest, I would have given it to Shifty because I think he got the most kills. But, you know, I'll take it. I'll take it.
You feel that there's a lot more to it to getting MVP than just getting kills? Is there more to it in the background?
Well, I mean,
like, Soka is the perfect piece to the puzzle on that team. Like, it brought them to being a really good team to being a really great team.
Ever since picking him up, honestly, we've won so many games. So, you know, I think he does a lot for our team. So if I were to give MVP, you know, I'd give it to him.
Fair enough. Look at that. Love between our teammates here. But currently Falcons are #1 in the standings. Now, tomorrow, you're playing for this trophy, and a big part of the $1 million prize pool, you get to crush the other keys that you got.
And don't get me wrong, both of these players are phenomenal. I'm not saying that they're not great.
Of course. I mean, no doubt about it in my mind. We're the most dominant.
Thank you, Renegade. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
There you go. You heard it here from Falcons and from Biffle.
Like, Soka is literally like irreplaceable on a team. What he brings to a team is legit irreplaceable.
Have it, man. The interview from Biffle, the confidence too.
Like, Soka is the IGL this year that Tom has been. Like, Tom was an irreplaceable player for the longest time, but now that's become Soka. Like, what he brings game knowledge-wise.
Look, there's winning, and then there's dominance.
And, like, just
again, it comes back
putting
to that
his team in advantageous positions. I mean, like, you can't,
into that building, right? I mean,
you can't match that.
The whole house is there right now.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy about that, though, Seymour? Biffle, right, that was a conversation about could he take over that top spot, that top earning spot? What do you think?
I mean, it's just kind of one of those things where Biffle, he's looking
yeah,
for
literally.
it,
He was the piece to the puzzle
Every
that
time
team
we see them
needed.
come to a tournament, he is dominant. He
It's
is
like we saw
ruthless.
Shifty and Biffle
alongside
play
Shifty,
with different
it just
thirds,
seems like they
and
can
it just
do
like wasn't.
whatever
They were
want.
still
We see it
good.
here all day long.
Wasn't
4 up, 4 down for
dominatingly
this
good.
Falcons team. That dynasty
Soka joined
is
this team,
looking
and
quite
now it's like.
fantastic, Brody.
And you know what? We got to bring it back to the conversation that we had earlier on today. Tommy eliminated on the Alula squad. They were the #1 player on Warzone earnings before this tournament. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt at this point, short of something seriously going awry, that Biffle and Shifty will take that #1 and #2 spot respectively.
Yeah, and you know what? We were kind of talking about.
I'm
this,
really
we
excited
have
though to
talk
see
about that
Ben,
Vitality squad.
Eddie,
I
and
believe
Skull
Shift
play
had
tomorrow.
mentioned it. They got 11th place, but
I think they're gonna. I think they're
did
gonna
not
surprise
get that
people.
multiplier.
And it's not really kind of surprising to see Vitality struggling a little bit after having some struggles over the past couple of days, yesterday, and even in the solos.
I believe
a
it is
little
at the
bit
same time
too. And
tomorrow.
it was really the pressure put on them by that Onyx Ravens team. Again, we got to bring that focus back over there because Onyx was pressuring Vitality, BSL, Omid, all those squads heading into that last game. They were only 7 points off from BSL. So there was a chance that Vitality didn't even make it to tomorrow. So the fact that they do, the fact that Vitality are still alive, now they really need to hone in on this next day.
Yeah, and you know what? It's back to that conversation point, right? Translating your big map into your resurgence, right? I mean, that translation is going so well for a team like Falcons very clearly because they're the damn Falcons, right? I mean, what else do you want us to say? It's Falcons.
Yeah.
But for Vitality, a roster that already has those issues of communication, that having to overcome that barrier as a team, it seems as if they just aren't able to get there. In the end, they had some great moments, albeit, but just, 100%, it just wasn't there.
But hey, Ellen, I mean, you went 100% on your predictions for today for the Falcons.
Never let it go.
I mean,
I'm going to start calling you the Lisa Al-Gaib.
Listen, if anybody wants me to start telling their futures, I'm telling you, I predicted that. Destroy Steve. No, I'm totally joking here. But no, seriously, great stuff from them. That is absolutely insane to keep that consistency. But I wanted to give a shout to Team Zix, right? We kind of saw them fighting around the living quarters, and they were being really disruptive. So shout out to them to keeping that consistency. But as we kind of get Taylor to come back on, as much as I love seeing my beautiful face, welcome back here. Kind of had a little.
Oh, he has a new mic.
But hey,
it's all right. We make it work.
Yeah, we make it work, right? We
Falcons came and Thanos snapped my mic. They said, "Look, we're done here with you, man. You weren't a believer. You voted for Fnatic. Okay, so now we want Dream to be the host. That's okay. Hey, Falcons absolutely tearing it up, and a stellar performance from them. And you all covered a lot of great teams. Vitality, right? C9. Did we talk about C9 and their heroic run? Right, it's a good finish. Second.
You know what? I think like people can't like judge Breadman too much because Breadman does not play Resurgence. Breadman has 0 Resurgence experience. Like not even pub Resurgence experience.
There was actually a moment, I think it was about, I want to say about 3/4 away through the game, where I think it was Breadman left alive all on his lonesome.
Yeah.
He had to wait really patiently to get Jowo back into the game. If he goes Charles that gunfight, it is game over, and there is no chance of them qualifying.
Guess what? It is time to see who officially made it to the top 14.
Oh, they're showing the leaderboard.
Tomorrow, who will be going for all the money and the glory? Well, let's check it out.
Oh, they finished 4th? It's okay. They only finished 4th by 5 points.
By the way, let's shout that out. But let's start working our way from the bottom up. Dream starting at 14 Omid.
Well, congratulations.
Destroyed it. Omid did. Wow.
You know what? They really did.
Good for them.
They were chowing. That last drop, they chowed Fnatic. Straight confidence, and they dropped up a lot of.
Wait, so who got eliminated then?
You
this
know
is
what
Aiden.
That comes down to J-Tech
Wars,
swimming in the water. 100%. That placement point is the reason why he's up there. Because Omid heading into that last map, they weren't even confirmed to be up there.
You know, it's crazy to see some of these results. New icons destroy, right? Coming off the sickness. His brother playing yesterday. And then you also have Team Eisen, Heretics, Syndicate, SGP, right? Guild. And then my good team.
He qualified,
Team 6 making it happen.
Well, yeah, we know about
Falcons
Lennon. They were the first ones to be eliminated.
AB Wiz, right? Ab Wiz up there in second place. they were a killer team.
Yeah, and they were doing the exact same thing every single game, sticking with the same strategies every single time. You're like, we're going to go Docs, and we're going to make that our own place to live.
Right.
They put a mortgage down on that place.
Jazz, you're so funny.
They were frightening so many teams away. Every single time they were trying to
I'll go land Stronghold.
They were
Catch
not
me.
Gonna
Catch
move.
me landing
Just
Stronghold.
Awesome. And of course, it's worth saying, Prodigy and Oki, two of the top slayers this weekend.
That's right. Well, let's talk about number 14, Omit. Barely getting through, but they get through nonetheless. A chance to go big tomorrow. Omit, a wonderful team that can go the distance. Talk to me about what makes them great.
It's the fact that they have something to prove coming in towards this tournament. I was saying it at the start of the show. There's a reason why they're under the Omit banner, and that is because they are left behind. They're the forgotten players. They come together, and now look at this teamwork.
The underdogs.
When they're needed the most, they step up. Even as individuals, we saw it from JTech, like I said, to make those high octane or those key moment, the critical plays from this team to get over that hump. And now that they're kind of making it into that next day, we can talk that whole storyline.
Let's see the prize breakdown.
To these players, they've officially made the most money they've ever made in Warzone competitive.
Which is crazy to think of, right? And like you said, the forgotten players, but now you'll have to remember their names. They play during the fourth and final day tomorrow during the finals. Omit, an incredible team that went the distance. They barely skated by, but tomorrow they're looking to take it all.
They're going to win. They're going to win. Randoms. We need to put that energy out there. It's over for today. Finals is tomorrow.
JTech, Elolam, and Tenix join us on the main stage, scraping in at 14th, but nevertheless, they made it into the finals. JTech, I've got to come to you first, man. Take a breath. How you feeling? You okay?
Oh, yeah, I'm feeling great, man. I mean, I was kind of nervous, you know. I mean, so many emotions running in the moment.
I'm really happy for this team.
Out, you know, our last couple games, or the last two games went pretty decent, but, you know we had to go crazy and secure it, but, you know.
What was it? Sorry.
No, I'm saying, like, we ended up qualifying, so, you know, it kind of went all the way.
I was just going to say, from your point of view, did those last two games go to plan? Did you have a plan? Did you execute it? Or, you know, were there a few hiccups along the way?
No, we had our plan, but, you know, some stuff happened along the way, some things that we didn't plan. But, you know, we just had to adapt, fight through that adversity, and we just managed to pull through.
Elolam, I wanted to ask you, you know, going into that final game, did you know how many points you needed to secure, or was it just, let's just go as hard as we can and just get as many points as possible? Because I wanted to feel if there was any, like, tactics involved in that last
prize pool distribution, there we go.
Llegando a la final, ¿sabías cuántos puntos tenías que marcar para llegar allí? ¿Y había una táctica específica o era simplemente ir marcando, marcando, marcando hasta llegar?
Sí, sabíamos que necesitábamos unos 8 puntos.
I'm pretty sure these guys are calming in English. I don't think they're calming in Spanish.
We knew that we needed 8 points to win, and we had him as an anchor, securing the team, and then we kept on pushing through.
Tenix, the anchor. Nice one. Good job. Now, let's look into the future. Let's look to tomorrow, the finals, the big day, 8 maps. What are you going to learn from today and bring into tomorrow? What are you planning on changing or working on? What's that secret sauce that you guys are going to need tomorrow?
Bueno, eres el ancla. Enhorabuena. ¿Qué tienes pensado para mañana?
I'm checking the schedule right now, guys. Yeah, the finals is at the same time.
Yo solamente me voy a quedar con el plan que seguimos. Mi trabajo es seguir motivándolos emocionalmente.
Okay,
mi trabajo
so
también es uno más aburrido que quedarme estacionario tratando de brindar toda la información que puedan,
finals.
Y que ellos sigan haciendo fragging. Porque honestamente,
they make at least 20,000 as a team, minimum. That's if they get 14th tomorrow.
Bueno, como ancla me temo que me voy a tener que quedar atrás y protegerme, pero también un papel muy importante es que tengo que motivar al equipo y ellos van a seguir como fraggers.
If they get top 10 tomorrow, they get 30,000. If they get top 5 tomorrow, they get 60,000.
STC Arena tomorrow, and we cannot wait to see what you bring to the table. Let's bump it all the way up that table because we cannot wait. And tell you what, that's it for us here at the STC Arena for day number 3. Tomorrow we got the finals, 8 maps, and we cannot wait to see what happens. We'll see you there. Back to the studio for now.
Hey, thank you, Barney. Oh, Mitt, right. A lot of passion there. They're happy to be competing. Tenix, the anchor, holding it down.
I mean, you can see that the trust is there for this team. They've brought the right players together. Adding Ilolem to the roster has definitely added that next little bit that they were maybe missing as individuals, and they're bringing their own looks to this as well. I'm glad that they came into that last game with a plan, because if not, they could have been overtaken by the Onyx Ravens.
It could have easily happened, and I think for a number of teams down there, you know, on the bubble, as we were breaking that down, you know, high risk versus high reward. Well, the 14 teams are solidified. We know who's moving forward to tomorrow, and I can't wait to get to that point. Before we do closing thoughts, I gotta hear what you all have to say about today. Seymour, we'll start with you once again. What's your final thoughts before we get out of here?
I won't lie. I was not expecting for the Falcons to win four games in a row. I am just surprised. I haven't really been able to see this Falcons roster just in a play or in a tournament like this, and I had my doubts. That's why I went for Twisted Mind. I had that gut feeling that, you know, maybe it's about time that they get dethroned, but if they're playing like that, man, I don't know. I got to trust in my Twisted Mind guys, but Falcons, they look scary.
They look incredible. 101-point lead over even.
How does it work with prize money? Do they split the winnings? I mean, that's all dependent, because some of these guys don't even have an org, right? So it all depends on their contract.
My prediction's a little late.
No.
Oh, damn it. Well, look, I will say this much. I think I'm still relatively
See you, Rogers.
Fnatic have been pretty consistent throughout the entirety of the weekend so far. So maybe they can still get it done, but I'll tell you what, man. Falcons are terrifying.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen tomorrow, right? It's going to be a crazy day for sure. And Dream, you're going to be here for that crazy day. What's your final thoughts before we get out of here?
You know, a lot of those teams, you guys, that we said in C group, the easier group, really proved themselves. And I will tell you what, a lot of these
local team, quote unquote. All right. Well, I have a tournament at 7 p.m. EST tonight, so I will be live like an hour or so before. I am gonna go relax. because we have been streaming a lot. So I'm gonna go relax. I'm gonna maybe go start my my new book, and then we will be live for the tournament a little later tonight. Oh, they stay 100%. All of their flights are predetermined, Tommy, and it would cost a freaking fortune to change their flights. They're definitely staying for finals for sure. I'm with Raw XC, I think, like Henry. He comes into my chat. No problem. I'll catch you guys tonight for my tournament, and then